Have you ever seen an employee get humiliated in public, and yet, in the middle of a crucial negotiation, spot a detail so rare, so impossible, it could save the entire company? This is the story of the woman everyone overlooked, until the day the truth only she could see turned the tables on a multi-million-dollar conspiracy. Miranda Hale stands at the head. Her voice is cool. Her smile is colder. She wears power like armor. She loves that look. She loves the room obeying her. Olivia Spencer stands by the projector. She holds the printed pages. Her hands are small. Her voice is smaller. She keeps her head down. She was never loud. She was never seen. Miranda points at a line on the document. She reads it slow. She makes the others follow every word. She looks at Olivia with a thin smile. "This clause," Miranda says, "a grave mistake, an amateur error." She clicks her phone. A slide changes. The board leans forward. "Who prepared this?" Miranda asks. Her tone is sharp. The room looks at Olivia. "You," she says to the smallest person in the room. "You signed off. You approved. That is unacceptable." Laughter flickers, not loud, enough to sting. Olivia opens her mouth. She tries to explain. Her voice cracks. "I heard a word," she says. "A word in the recording. It's not what it seems." Miranda laughs like it is a joke. "A word? From the assistant? This is a negotiation with a billionaire firm. This is not a school play. Sit down." Her words land like stones. The room goes still. Eyes cut to Olivia, some with pity, some with disdain. Daniel Cole Ferguson watches from the far end. He sits behind a slim laptop. He is the CEO. He is the man whose name is on the building. He is quiet tonight. He watches like a judge who does not yet speak. Olivia repeats the syllable. It comes out small. It is a rare dialect. Her father taught her. He taught her before he got sick. The sound means something dark. It means trick. It means hidden intent. "That is impossible," Miranda says. "You are not trained in this. You are not an expert. You are an administrator." She leans forward. Her voice drops, loud enough for the table. "You embarrass us. You embarrass him." A camera in the corner records. Security watches. "She should be fired," a director mutters. It is quiet, but the word slices through Olivia. Her chest tightens. She tells herself to breathe. She holds the papers like a shield. The air tastes metallic. Daniel does not move at first. His face is closed. He has not spoken. He is the cold CEO people talk about. He built walls after he was betrayed. He built them high. Miranda stands taller. She is a polished blade. "We cannot risk a leak," she says. "We cannot risk incompetence." She names consequences before anyone else can. The sentence is final. It is meant to break someone. Someone in the room smiles. Miranda's allies nod. Olivia hears the syllable in her head again. The word she knows. The warning. She steps forward. Her legs tremble. For a moment the room leans towards silence. "Please," she says. "Listen to the recording. Listen to the word. It—" Miranda cuts her off with a laugh that is too bright. "Please," Miranda mimics. "Do you know what this is? Sympathy? A sob story? We run a luxury life enterprise. We do not accommodate excuses." She paces like a conductor. She points at Olivia's resume, already on a file in front of an HR manager. "This is a rich versus poor problem, not a business issue. We cannot let sentiment ruin deals." The word humiliated hovers in Olivia's chest. She remembers late nights, bills unopened, her father's cough, the note from the landlord, her life threaded with small, quiet fights for survival. Miranda walks through the room. She squeezes the moment for effect. The executives laugh polite and sharp. The projector shows the signature page. The foreign partners watch on the screen, 1,000 miles away. They do not see the exchange. They only see the polished presentation. "Someone in this room has to be responsible," Miranda says. "We will review this. We will hold the person accountable." Daniel still looks at the screen. He turns his head slowly. His eyes find Olivia. There is a pause. A long, thin pause where floors and ceilings feel the same. Olivia feels every gaze. She feels her cheeks burn. Her voice drops to a whisper. The dialect is different. The tone, "You will not speak," Miranda snaps. "Not here. Not in public." A small sound escapes from Olivia, a strangled breath. She feels the room shrink. She wants to sink into the carpet. Daniel stands then. The movement is deliberate. It is small, but it changes the air. "Enough," he says. His voice is low. It reaches the back of the room. Miranda smiles like she has been caught. She expects him to side with her. He is supposed to, everyone believes. "She will not be removed tonight," Daniel says. "We will not make a public scene." The words are a thin gift, a mini reward, small, crucial. Miranda's jaw tightens. Her eyes flick to his. She smiles with teeth. "As you wish, CEO." But behind Miranda's smile is a plan. Behind the boardroom lights is a machine of power that moves in quiet ways. Miranda will spin this moment. She will not let it go. Olivia breathes. Her shoulders drop. She watches Daniel's hand. He folds his fingers around a pen. He looks back at the screen. The word in the recording echoes in her head again. She knows what it means. She knows the danger. Outside, the city hums. Inside, the room is a pressure chamber. The meeting resumes. Papers shuffle. Voices return to practice. Olivia sits back down. Her hands shake. She thinks of the bills. The notice slipped under her door. Her father's cough that keeps time with her fear. She thinks of the dialect her father taught her, an inheritance no one in the company values. Miranda draws a bright line across the next slide. She steers the conversation back to business. She smiles at the cameras. Her victory is near. Olivia opens her laptop. Her fingers hover over the audio file. She will listen again. She will not be silenced. The boardroom speaks in numbers now, in agreements, in signatures. But a single syllable waits at the edge of sound. It holds a secret. Daniel watches her place her finger on the playback. He watches the small, nervous motion. He does not say anything yet. The meeting moves on. Outside, a car door clicks. Inside, a pen scratches down the next line. Olivia presses play. The faint voice speaks the word again. Someone in the room clears their throat. The projector slides to the next page. Olivia's screen shows the waveform. Her father's voice lives in that curve. Her mouth forms the syllable silently. She is ignored. She has been ignored all her life. She will not be ignored this time. The hallway is silent when Olivia walks out of the boardroom. The door closes behind her like a verdict. She exhales a breath she didn't know she was holding. Her vision blurs for a second. Her knees soften. The humiliation clings to her skin. Every word Miranda threw at her feels branded there. She reaches the elevator and presses the button with a shaking finger. Her phone vibrates. Notifications she has no courage to open. Probably the landlord. Probably the utility company. Probably another reminder she can't afford anything on time. The elevator doors slide open. She steps inside and leans against the mirrored wall. Her reflection looks like someone else. Someone bent. Someone small. At home, the mailbox waits with a stack of envelopes she already fears. The elevator stops on the ground floor. She walks through the lobby, head down, hugging the documents against her chest like a shield. Outside, the city wind cuts sharp across her cheeks. She takes the bus home. The ride is long. People talk around her. She hears none of it. The word from the recording pulses in her mind. The tone, the hidden meaning, the danger nobody else noticed. Her stop arrives. She walks fast, climbs the stairway to her apartment, and unlocks the door. A stack of unpaid bills sits on the kitchen table. Red letters, threats, dates long past. She sinks into the chair. Her father coughs from the bedroom, deep, painful, familiar. She stands immediately and brings him water. He gives her a tired smile. Você trabalhou demais, he whispers. It's fine, she says, forcing a smile. It isn't fine. She checks the medication box. Empty. She knew it would be. She had planned to buy the refill today, but she won't have money until the next paycheck. If HR keeps her suspension, she won't even have that. Her phone buzzes. A new email. She opens it. Subject: Suspensão temporária. Conduta inadequada. Sender: Miranda Hale. The words burn. She covers her mouth. A sob breaks free before she can stop it. Tear moment. She cries quietly, shoulders shaking. Tears falling on the kitchen table, on the bills, on the printed contract pages. She wipes her face. She tells herself to breathe. She has cried alone before. She will cry alone again. A knock breaks the silence. She freezes. Another soft knock. She wipes her face quickly and walks to the door. She opens it a crack. Daniel Cole Ferguson stands in the hallway. Her breath disappears. He doesn't step in. He doesn't smile. He doesn't soften. He watches her with that unreadable calm that makes people afraid to lie around him. I was on my way out, he says, voice low. I saw you leave the building. You looked unwell. She tries to straighten her posture. I'm fine. His eyes drop to her hands, still trembling. He notices everything. He reaches into his coat pocket and holds out a folded handkerchief. The gesture is small, unexpected, too gentle for a man who commands whole markets. Take it, he says. She hesitates. Then she takes it with trembling fingers. A long pause fills the hallway, a quiet too full for strangers. What happened in there? He asks quietly. What was it really about? Her throat tightens, her eyes lower. She tries to speak, but a tear escapes anyway. He doesn't look away. She gives a short, breathless answer. I heard something the others didn't. He waits. He doesn't rush her. That alone feels foreign. No one ever waits for her words. She steps back into the apartment. He remains at the doorway, leaning on the frame, hands in his pockets. The word, she whispers. In the recording. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't business language. It was a warning, a hidden instruction. Daniel's expression shifts, just a fraction. Interest, suspicion, something else. You're certain? He asks. She nods. My father taught me the dialect. He studies her face as if reading a document more important than the contract. Suddenly her phone buzzes on the table. Another bill reminder flashes on the screen. Daniel's gaze flicks to it. She sees him notice the overdue notice. She knows he notices everything. The worn sweater, the tired eyes, the weight she carries alone. A quiet breath slips from him. He doesn't comment on any of it, but something in his posture shifts, a decision forming. He steps back from the doorway. For now, he says, don't respond to HR. Don't sign anything. Not until I look into this. She stares at him. You believe me? He doesn't answer directly. He just gives the smallest nod. Another mini recompensa. Small, but enough to keep her standing. He turns to leave, coat catching in the hallway light. Get some rest, Olivia, he says. Tomorrow will be complicated. She watches him walk away. Her hand tightens around the folded handkerchief. Her heart beats too fast. Her chest aches with something beyond fear. She closes the door softly. Her father coughs again. The bills remain on the table. The word pulses in her mind. And the CEO's voice echoes through her apartment. Tomorrow will be complicated. She sits, opens her laptop, and plays the recording again as the screen glows in the dark apartment, the syllable repeating like a warning. And she knows something far bigger is unfolding. The hospital lights flicker against the windows as dawn breaks. Olivia didn't sleep. She spent the night replaying the recording, isolating the syllables, tracing the hidden meaning with tired eyes and a shaking resolve. Now she walks through the company lobby with slow steps, clutching her worn bag. People glance at her, Some murmur. Word spreads fast in corporate halls. Mistreated, humiliated, maybe even fired soon. A poor girl trapped in a world of polished shoes and cold smiles. She presses the elevator button and steps inside. Her reflection looks sharper today, not strong, just determined. The doors open on Daniel's floor. His assistant jumps slightly. "He asked for you, right away." Her pulse spikes. She enters his office slowly. Daniel stands by the window, tall, controlled, arms folded. His silhouette cuts through the morning light. The city stretches behind him like a kingdom he commands, but never fully trusts. He turns as she enters. "You came," he says simply. She nods. "You asked." He gestures for her to sit. She does carefully, as if the chair might judge her. Daniel walks toward his desk, but he doesn't sit. He leans against the edge, close enough that she feels the heat of him. Close enough that she senses the weight he carries beneath the tailored suit. "Tell me again," he says. "The word you heard." She straightens, brushes a strand of hair behind her ear, and repeats the syllable slowly. The sound fills the room with something ancient, precise, impossible to misinterpret once you know its meaning. Daniel watches her lips as she speaks. His jaw tightens. "That dialect," he says, "it's extremely rare." "My father's hometown used it," she answers softly. "Before he got sick, he made me memorize every variation." Daniel's eyes drop for a moment. His expression shifts, something heavy, something he doesn't show to anyone. A shadow of old pain crosses his face. He speaks quietly. "People think being a powerful man eliminates danger. They don't understand how betrayal works." She watches him, sensing the truth beneath his voice. "In my last partnership," he continues, "I trusted someone. I thought loyalty meant something. Instead, I was exploited." He doesn't look at her. Not yet. "It cost me millions. It nearly cost me the company." His eyes finally meet hers. The honesty hits her like a warm shock. "That's why I don't ignore warnings," he says, "especially not from someone who has nothing to gain." Olivia swallows hard. For the first time, she sees the scar beneath the CEO, the guarded man behind the luxury life, the boardrooms, the tailored suits, a man who knows what it is to be cheated, abandoned, ignored in ways money can't fix. Their breaths mingle in the still room. She opens her folder, pulling out the notes she made overnight. "I compared every instance the foreign team spoke off mic. And this line here." She brings the paper closer to him. He leans in. She smells his cologne, subtle, warm, steady. The distance between them drops to inches. Their hands almost touch as she slides the document forward. She doesn't pull away. Neither does he. His eyes flick down to the place where their fingers nearly meet. The tension shifts, quiet, electric. She points to the word. "This isn't a business instruction. It's an order. To divert funds." Daniel studies her face for a long moment. "You're sure?" "No doubt." He inhales slowly. Decision forming. Something fierce. A sharp knock hits the door. Miranda enters without waiting. Her heels strike the floor like a warning. She smiles at Daniel. She smirks at Olivia. "Well," she says, voice dripping sweetness, "looks like our little administrative helper isn't satisfied with last night's embarrassment." Daniel straightens. His presence darkens. But Olivia feels her throat close again. The humiliation from yesterday clings to her memory. Miranda circles her like a predator. "You should be grateful HR hasn't processed your suspension yet. Coming here today? Bold, very bold." She leans close to Olivia's ear. Desperation doesn't look good on a poor woman. Olivia grips the folder tighter. Her breath shakes. Daniel steps forward. "Miranda, enough." She turns, eyebrows lifting. "I'm simply maintaining order." "You're crossing a line," Daniel says, voice low, controlled. The kind of control that hides fire beneath. Miranda's smile tightens at the edges. He looks at Olivia. "Stay." A single word. A powerful one. Miranda's eyes harden. She isn't used to losing even a small amount of control. "Fine," she says with a brittle laugh. "Play whatever little game this is. But don't say I didn't warn you." She walks out, slamming the door. Silence rushes back. Olivia releases a shaky breath. She doesn't realize Daniel has stepped closer again until she looks up and finds him watching her with an expression she can't read. Protective. Something more. He speaks softly now. "You don't deserve any of this." Her chest tightens. He reaches down and picks up the page she dropped during Miranda's attack. He hands it to her. His fingers brush hers, just barely, but the touch sends a jolt through both of them. "Bring me everything you have on this dialect," he says. "We're not done." The words settle inside her like fire. Not fear. Purpose. As she gathers her papers, Daniel watches her with a new weight in his gaze. A silent understanding passes between them. A bond formed not from rank, but from truth. She steps toward the door. Daniel stops her with one final line, soft but commanding. "Whatever happens next, you're not facing it alone." She turns, eyes wide. He holds her gaze without flinching. The air thickens. She nods once and leaves the room with her heart racing, carrying the folder as if it were the lifeline of the entire company. And the spark between them burns hotter than either of them is ready to admit. Olivia steps out of Daniel's office with her pulse pounding in her ears. The hallway feels brighter than it should. Too bright for someone who might still lose everything. She clutches the folder to her chest and heads toward the elevator. Each step vibrates with the weight of what Daniel said. You're not facing it alone. No one had ever said something like that to her. Not in this building, not in any job she ever had. She presses the elevator button and breathes slowly until the doors open. Inside the empty car, she wipes her palms on her skirt and tells herself to focus. She has work to do, real work. Work that could expose a hidden operation inside a billionaire-level contract. Something that could destroy Daniel's company, or save it. The elevator descends. Her heart descends with it. Back in her small apartment hours later, the kitchen table is covered with documents, scribbled notes, hand-drawn diagrams and translations. She sits cross-legged on the chair, wearing a faded sweater, hair falling loose. Her laptop glows in the dim light. She plays the audio again. The voice repeats the same syllable she recognized. She isolates it, repeats it, slows it down, compares it to dialect fragments her father taught her when she was still a child. Her chest aches at the memory, his voice, his laugh, his pride in teaching her something people rarely valued. Now it matters, more than anything. She flips through an old notebook she kept from years ago, pages filled with symbols, notes, arrows. There it is, the exact inflection. The same variant the speaker used, a command, an instruction for internal misdirection. The kind used by criminal financial groups that operate behind legitimate companies. Her breath catches. This isn't a misunderstanding. It's sabotage. She scribbles down the translation. Redistribute discreetly. No trace. Her stomach drops. Someone inside the company is working with them. Someone who knows the contract structure well enough to insert hidden signals. A shadow crosses her apartment window. A loud knock hits the door. Her heart jumps. She closes the notebook, pushes documents under a folder, and walks carefully to the door. She peeks through the peephole and freezes. Miranda Hale stands outside. Perfect hair, perfect suit, perfect smile sharpened to a blade. Olivia unlocks the door halfway. "Ms. Hale?" Miranda forces the door open wider with one hand and steps inside without invitation. Olivia backs up, startled. Miranda scans the apartment with obvious disdain. "So this is where you live?" Her tone is poison dipped in honey. A rich versus poor contrast Miranda enjoys far too much. Olivia draws a breath. "What are you doing here?" Miranda walks slowly around the small living room, fingers brushing across surfaces, as if touching something contaminated. "Let's be honest," she says. "You're in over your head." Olivia stiffens. "I don't understand." "Oh, you do." Miranda turns, eyes cold. "You think you've found something. You think your little dialect trick gives you leverage." Olivia grips the back of a chair for steadiness. Miranda steps closer, lowering her voice. "Listen carefully. Stop looking into the contract. Stop digging into things you don't understand. Consider this your final warning. My suspension will become termination," Miranda cuts sharply. "And not just termination. You'll leave this industry wrongfully accused of misconduct. Your record will follow you. You won't find another job anywhere." Olivia swallows hard. Fear presses on her ribs. She thinks of her father, the medication, the rent, the overdue bills. Miranda leans in, voice silk and venom. "You are a poor woman. You don't get to challenge people like me." Olivia's hands tremble, but she doesn't break. Miranda's eyes narrow. "And one more thing. Stay away from Daniel." The name hits the air like a slap. Olivia's breath stops. "I'm not." Miranda laughs softly. "Don't insult me. I see the way he looks at you. Temporary interest, a phase, a distraction. But him noticing you at all is a problem." Her smile turns cruel. "People like you don't belong next to powerful men." The words slice deep, but they ignite something inside Olivia too. A spark of refusal. A spark Daniel unknowingly planted earlier. She steps back, mustering the courage to speak. "I'm not doing anything wrong." Miranda's expression tightens. "Yet." She steps toward the door. "But continue this little investigation." She touches the frame, the gesture lazy and threatening. "And I promise you'll regret it." The door shuts behind her with a final, echoing click. Silence fills the apartment. Olivia presses her hand to her chest. Her heart is racing. Her knees are weak, but her mind is sharper than ever. Miranda is scared. That means she uncovered something real. She sits again at the table, breathing through the shakiness, and pulls the documents back out. If Miranda wants her silent, it means the truth is dangerous. More dangerous than she imagined. She flips the page to the translation again. The meaning stares back at her like a lit fuse. She whispers to the empty room. "They're setting him up." Her fingers tighten around her pen. "And I can prove it." Her determination solidifies into something unshakable. She begins assembling the evidence into a clean sequence, page by page, piece by piece. The night grows darker. Her notes grow thicker. Her pulse grows steadier. And as she tapes one last printout to the wall, she realizes, this isn't just about survival anymore. This is about truth, about justice, about saving the only man who ever saw her as more than invisible. The room fills with documents. The audio keeps looping softly, and Olivia works through the night, unaware that this evidence will soon put her directly in the line of fire, and pull Daniel closer to her than she ever expected. Morning light breaks through Daniel's office windows like a sharp blade slicing the tension in the air. He stands alone, hands in his pockets, staring at the skyline he built his empire over. A powerful man in a world where trust is currency and betrayal is always closer than comfort. But his thoughts keep circling back to one person, Olivia Spencer, the quiet woman who heard what no one else did. The poor girl everyone dismissed. The one who walked into his office yesterday with shaking hands and unshakable truth. A soft knock pulls him from his thoughts. He turns. Olivia steps in. Her hair is pulled back, her clothes plain, her eyes tired but bright with determination. She clutches a new stack of papers, organized, color-coded, precise. For a woman fighting overdue bills, a sick father, and a looming suspension, she looks like someone who refused to break. Daniel feels a strange pull in his chest, a mix of admiration and something heavier. "Good morning," he says, voice steady. She nods, hesitant. I brought everything. All the translations, the pattern, and the names hidden behind the markers. She sets the papers on the table. Her fingers brush the wood. Daniel walks closer, too close. He leans over her shoulder as she opens the first page. Their proximity shifts the air. Her breath catches. His jaw tightens. He can smell the faint scent of her shampoo. Simple, clean. Nothing like the heavy perfumes of boardroom events. He feels her tense under the weight of his presence. "Walk me through it," he says softly. She nods again and points to a phrase in the contract margin. "The dialect word appears here," she whispers. "But if you cross-reference it with the timestamp from the audio, here." She scrolls the file on her tablet. Her hand shakes slightly when his arm brushes hers. Daniel notices. He steadies her wrist gently, a gesture so subtle, a protective move he didn't think before making. Olivia freezes. Her breath stutters. Heat climbs her neck. He releases her slowly, but the connection lingers like a spark, refusing to fade. "What does this part mean?" he asks. "It's a signal," she says. "A transfer order. Hidden. Whoever placed it expected no one in this building to understand the dialect." Daniel exhales sharply, a controlled breath, masking anger. "They underestimated you." She flinches. "Everyone does." "Not anymore." The words land with weight. She looks at him. Really looks. Daniel holds her gaze longer than he should. A throat clears behind them. Miranda. She walks in without knocking, expression tight, eyes sharp as razors. Olivia steps back quickly, distancing herself from Daniel. Miranda sees it. Miranda hates it. "Well," Miranda says, voice coated in venomous sweetness, "I didn't realize we were holding private study sessions with administrative staff." Daniel's posture shifts, cold, controlled, CEO mode. "We're reviewing contract inconsistencies," he says flatly. Miranda's lips curve into a polished smile. "And she's qualified for that because she found something none of us did." Miranda's eyes flash. A crack in her perfect mask. She steps toward the table and flicks a page with 2 fingers. This seems like a stretch. She's not an analyst or an auditor. She barely qualifies as support. Olivia's chest tightens, but she doesn't lower her gaze. Daniel notices. "Olivia stays," he says, "and she's under my direct supervision until further notice." Miranda stiffens. Jealousy bleeds into her expression before she can hide it. "Daniel," she says quietly, "we have procedures. And I'm overriding them." For the first time, Miranda loses composure. "You can't just replace trained executives with someone who saved us from signing a fraudulent deal." Daniel's tone cuts like ice. "Watch me." Silence carves the space between all three. Miranda recovers her smile slowly. Too slowly. "Well," she says, stepping back, "if you insist." She turns to Olivia. Her voice drops to a poisonous whisper. "Careful, dear. Men like him don't stay interested for long." Olivia's breath stutters, not because of the insult, but because Daniel hears it. And something in him snaps. "That's enough," he says, voice low, dangerous. "One more comment like that, and I will personally remove you from this project." Miranda blinks, stunned. She turns and leaves with sharp, echoing steps. The door closes. Silence settles again. Olivia exhales shakily. "She's making this worse." "She's trying to scare you," Daniel says. "Don't let her." "She came to my apartment last night," Olivia blurts out. Daniel freezes. "What?" Olivia looks down. "She threatened me, told me to drop the investigation, said she'd ruin my career, and told me to stay away from you." Heat floods Daniel's expression, anger sharper than any she's seen. He steps closer, voice tight. "She had no right to approach you outside work." Olivia hesitates. "I think she's involved. Her reaction, the pressure. Something is wrong." Daniel's breathing deepens. His jaw flexes. He doesn't touch her, but his body angles toward her protectively, instinctively. "From now on," he says, voice firm, "you don't walk through this alone. I'll make sure of it." The words vibrate inside her like a promise she never expected. A knock hits the door, soft, brief. Daniel ignores it. He steps even closer, eyes locked on hers. She feels the heat between them rise again. Their breaths mix. The room feels too small, too warm, too charged. "Show me everything," he says. "Every page." She nods, heart racing, and spreads the documents on the table. Daniel stands beside her, close enough that their arms brush as they work through the clues, close enough that every accidental touch sends a small shock through her entire body. She feels him noticing her in ways she never imagined. She feels herself responding, drawn to him despite the danger, despite the difference in power, despite the world standing against them. They lean over the same page, their fingers graze, both freeze, both feel it, neither pulls away. And as they turn the next sheet, something in Daniel's voice shifts, low, rough, protective. We're getting close, too close for her to hide this much longer. Olivia's heart beats faster, because she knows he's right, and because standing this close to him is becoming a danger and a temptation of its own. The office is almost empty by the time the sun slips behind the skyline. Lights dim, floors quiet, doors click shut one by one. But Daniel and Olivia remain. They sit side by side at the conference table, surrounded by documents, translation notes, marked pages, financial trails, and the audio waveform paused on her laptop. Hours passed without either noticing. The air feels heavier now, thicker with exhaustion, tension, and something neither of them dares name yet. Olivia rubs her eyes. "We're missing a link," she whispers. One signature line doesn't match the pattern. Daniel watches her fingers tremble from fatigue. "You haven't eaten," she shrugs. "I'm fine." "You're not." His voice is soft but firm, the kind that slips beneath her defenses. He stands and takes off his suit jacket, draping it over the back of her chair. The warmth of the fabric touches her shoulders. She stiffens, not from discomfort, but from the surprising intimacy. "You shouldn't give me this," she murmurs. "You're freezing," he says, "and you won't admit it." Her breath catches. He sees more than she wants him to, more than anyone ever did. Daniel leans over the table, studying the documents. His sleeves are rolled up, his tie loosened. He looks less like a CEO and more like a man fighting a battle no one else can see. "Look here," he says, pointing to a translation note. What if the phrase isn't about funds transfer, but about timing? Olivia follows his gesture, leaning in, too close. Her shoulder brushes his arm. He doesn't move. Her pulse jumps. He turns his head slightly, and his voice drops, deeper than before. "You're shivering." She shakes her head. "I'm just tired." He studies her for a moment that lasts too long. Then he says quietly, "You've carried this alone for too long." Her eyes sting. She looks away. Daniel steps closer. The movement is slow, intentional, careful, like approaching something fragile. "Olivia," he says, her name soft on his tongue. "Why didn't you tell me she threatened you sooner?" "I didn't want to make things worse." "For who?" he asks. She lifts her eyes. "For you." Something cracks in his expression, something raw, something he spent years burying under leadership and walls. He moves closer again, so close she feels his breath on her cheek. "You don't protect me," he says, voice low. "I protect you." Her heart pounds against her ribs. She tries to swallow but can't. The laptop's blue glow paints their faces. Shadows gather around them, isolating them from the world. Daniel lifts a hand, slowly, and brushes a loose strand of hair behind her ear. His fingers graze her skin. She inhales sharply. He freezes. She doesn't pull away. Their eyes lock. Something shifts between them. Not new, but undeniable now. The thread that has been tightening since the first time he defended her pulls tight enough to draw breath from both. No one, he says quietly, speaks to you the way she did. His thumb grazes her cheekbone. Heat spreads beneath her skin. No one threatens you. His voice grows rougher. No one makes you small. She whispers, I'm not used to anyone seeing me. I see you, he says without hesitation. A silence falls. Thick, magnetic, trembling with the pull neither can resist anymore. Her heartbeat echoes in her ears. His breath mixes with hers. Their faces inch closer without thought, without plan, only need. Daniel, she whispers. He leans in first. Their lips meet with a softness that lasts only a second, before the deeper, inevitable crash follows. The kiss turns intense, warm, urgent. Not reckless, never reckless, but powerful. His hand cradles her jaw. Her fingers clutch his shirt. Their breaths tangle with a heat that pulls everything else out of the room. It's everything they've been fighting, everything they've been denying, everything they feared wanting. When they finally part, just barely, his forehead rests against hers. Both breathing hard. Both changed. His voice is rough, almost a whisper. This shouldn't happen. Her fingers remain curled in his shirt. I know. But I don't regret it, he murmurs. Her lips part in a trembling breath. Neither do I. A soft sound echoes outside in the hallway, a distant footstep. They separate slightly, breathing still uneven, hearts still pounding. Daniel forces himself to look back at the documents on the table, though he barely sees them. We're close, he says, voice steadier, but low. Too close for this to be a coincidence. Someone inside is feeding information to the foreign investors. Olivia nods, still breathless, and Miranda wants to make sure we never find out who. He turns back to her. Less distance now, less fear. Then we keep going, he says. Olivia gathers the papers, her lips still tingling, her heart still racing, her world completely changed. Daniel steps beside her, closer than before, no longer pretending otherwise. Tomorrow, he says, we uncover everything. They stand together in the dim conference room, documents scattered, evidence growing. Two lives suddenly tangled far beyond corporate lines. And outside, somewhere down the hall, a shadow pauses in the darkness, listening. The danger is closer than they think. The next morning, the building feels different. Colder. Quieter. Like the walls themselves know something is about to break. Olivia walks through the lobby with the folder pressed tight against her chest. She barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she felt Daniel's lips against hers again. The warmth, the certainty, the way he held her like she mattered. It scares her. It steadies her. Both at once. But today isn't about romance. Today is about danger. She taps her badge at the elevator, but the machine beeps red. Access denied. Her heart drops. She tries again. Red. Again. Red. A security guard approaches. Miss Spencer, HR needs to see you right away. Her stomach twists. This is wrong. Too sudden. Too coordinated. She follows the guard down the hall, pulse thundering. They stop outside a small conference room. He opens the door. Inside sits the HR manager, stern, unreadable, and beside her, Miranda Hale, polished, calm, smiling, a shark waiting at the surface. Olivia, Miranda says sweetly, please, sit. Olivia remains standing. What's going on? The HR manager slides a stack of printed emails across the table. Her world stops. They're from her account, but she didn't write a single one. Emails approving unauthorized document edits. Emails requesting contract alterations. Emails confirming that she altered key financial clauses. Forgery. All of it. Miranda leans back, casually. We traced irregularities in the contract to your login. Quite disappointing. This isn't real. Olivia breathes. I didn't send those. Miranda tilts her head. So someone hacked you. A laugh. Soft. Cruel. Why would anyone target an administrative assistant? Olivia grips the back of a chair. Her hands shake. You know why. Miranda's eyes glitter. Careful, dear. The HR manager clears her throat. Given the evidence, we're required to move forward with administrative action. This includes temporary suspension, full system lockout, and an internal investigation into misconduct. Misconduct. The word crushes the air from Olivia's lungs. No, she whispers. Please, I can explain everything. Miranda folds her arms. Daniel will be informed shortly. Something in her voice is off. Too confident, too certain, like she knows Daniel won't get the truth in time. The HR manager slides a pen toward Olivia. Sign here to acknowledge the suspension. Olivia stares at the paper. Her fingers tremble. If she signs, her name is ruined. If she refuses, they'll claim non-compliance. She feels the walls closing in. Then, a knock hits the door. Sharp, cold. Daniel walks in. His presence shifts the air instantly. He looks from Olivia to the papers, to Miranda. He sees everything. What is this? He asks, voice deadly calm. Miranda smiles too brightly. A disciplinary meeting, Daniel. Nothing more. His eyes cut to the forged emails, then to Olivia's pale face. He steps forward, slow, controlled, like a man walking toward a fire he intends to put out with his bare hands. Why was I not informed? He asks. The HR manager swallows. We, Miranda, said you approved. I didn't. Miranda's smile falters. Daniel takes the papers from the table, flipping through them with precision. He stops at a timestamp. This email was sent at 2:14 a.m. He lifts his eyes to Olivia. Soft. Protective. You were with me at that time. She feels her cheeks heat. Not from shame, but from the truth he's placing into the room like a shield. Miranda's jaw tightens. Daniel turns to HR. Remove these from the record, now. The HR manager stumbles. But, Mr. Ferguson, these are serious. These are fabricated, he says. And until I finish reviewing system logs myself, no action will be taken against Ms. Spencer. Miranda stands abruptly. Daniel, you're letting personal bias cloud. Sit down, he says quietly. Miranda freezes, her first visible crack. Daniel steps beside Olivia. Close. Too close for corporate comfort. You're coming with me, he says. She nods, barely breathing. He places a hand at the small of her back, a protective gesture hidden from the others by his body. Her heart flips. Heat spreads through her chest. Meeting adjourned, Daniel says. He guides her out of the room. The door shuts behind them with a decisive click. In the hallway, Olivia lets out a shaky breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. Daniel turns to her. His eyes, usually guarded, are burning. Are you hurt? He asks. She shakes her head. Just scared. You did nothing wrong, he says, and I will prove it. His hand lingers at her back. She feels it like warmth through her entire body. I won't let them destroy you, he adds. A soft gasp escapes her. The sincerity in his voice is too much. Daniel. His eyes soften at the way she says his name. But before either can speak again, a notification buzzes on Daniel's phone. He looks at the screen. His jaw tightens. What is it? Olivia asks. He turns the screen toward her. A system alert. Attempted deletion of contract audit logs. User, Spencer. Status, blocked. She covers her mouth. That wasn't me. Someone's framing me. Daniel steps closer, lowering his voice. Someone is desperate. And getting bolder, she whispers. His expression darkens. We're running out of time. He scans the hallway, then leans in so only she can hear. From this moment on, you don't go anywhere alone. Not in the building, not outside it. If someone is targeting you, they're not doing it lightly. Her breath trembles. Why me? He doesn't hesitate. Because you're the only one smart enough to expose them. Her chest tightens, a mix of fear, pride, and something dangerously close to longing. Daniel lifts his hand, just a fraction, wanting to touch her, to reassure her, but stopping himself at the last second. Instead, he steps back, controlled, focused, ready for war. Come on, he says. We fight this together. He starts walking. Olivia follows, heart pounding, unaware that as they turn the corner, a camera in the hallway zooms in, tracking her every step. The trap isn't over. It's just beginning. Rain hits the city in thin, cold lines as afternoon darkens the sky. Daniel and Olivia take the service elevator to avoid eyes and rumors. But tension follows them like a shadow. When the doors close, Daniel presses the emergency stop. The elevator hum stops. Silence traps them together. Olivia's pulse jumps. Daniel? He turns to her slowly. His expression is sharp, CEO control fused with something personal, protective, dangerous. They're escalating, he says, and I need to know everything you found. Not some of it, all of it. She nods quickly. I'll show you everything, but there's something I didn't tell you yet. He steps closer. Tell me. His voice is low, too close. She swallows. The hidden command isn't isolated. It's part of a larger code sequence. Someone inside the company has been communicating with the foreign investors for months. Daniel freezes. His jaw clenches. His eyes sharpen like glass under pressure. Which department? He asks. She hesitates. Executive level. Daniel breathes once. Slow, controlled, dangerous. Name. Olivia flinches, because she has one, and she knows saying it out loud will change everything. Before she can speak, the elevator lights flicker. A spark. A short outage. Then power returns. Daniel stiffens. We're being watched. They exit quickly, stepping into the restricted archives floor. Cold, dim, rarely used. Daniel unlocks a private conference room with a biometric scan. The door seals shut behind them. Inside, she spreads her translated documents across the table. Red circles, highlighted phrases, handwritten notes at 3 a.m. Daniel stares at the pages like they are weapons he intends to load. This, she says, pointing to the coded phrase, is the trigger. But this, here, this is the authorization key. Only one person could approve this alteration without raising flags. Daniel leans forward. Tension coils in his shoulders. Who? He asks again. Olivia exhales, voice barely audible. Miranda. For a full second, Daniel doesn't blink. Then everything inside him changes. The betrayal hits him like a blow, quiet, sharp, and far too familiar. His past flashes behind his eyes. The partner who exploited him, the person he once cared for who turned everything into ashes, the reason he walls himself off. And now Miranda, someone he trusted professionally, someone who wanted more from him than he could ever give, trying to destroy him. She's been feeding external partners insider data, Olivia whispers, and framing me so no one would believe the truth. Daniel's breathing turns heavier. A silent storm beneath a tailored suit. Why didn't I see it? He mutters. You weren't supposed to, Olivia says softly. He looks at her then. Really looks. Her courage, her exhaustion, her willingness to walk into danger for him. You saved my company, he says quietly, and you don't even realize it. Her lips part. I just didn't want you to sign something that would hurt you. Daniel steps closer. Much too close. His voice drops. People don't protect me, Olivia. She feels it, the raw wound beneath the CEO, the scar from the betrayal that left him guarded for years. I do, she whispers before she can stop herself. His breath catches, but before the moment can deepen, her phone buzzes. She checks the screen, then goes pale. It's my father. Daniel's expression shifts instantly. What happened? She grabs her bag with shaking hands. The nurse says he collapsed. They're taking him to the hospital. Daniel is already moving. Come with me. Now. He guides her down the hall, his hand on her back again, firmer this time, steadying her. They reach the parking garage. Daniel unlocks his car with a press. It's sleek, black, luxury, completely out of place with the fear crushing Olivia's chest. He opens the passenger door for her. She climbs in, trembling. The ride is fast, but controlled, like everything he does. When they reach the hospital, she rushes inside. Daniel is right behind her, matching her pace. She reaches the nurse's station. My father, Arthur Spencer. Where is he? The nurse checks the chart. Severe dehydration, stress-related collapse. He'll need medication and monitoring. You'll need to handle the payment before we continue treatment. Olivia's world sways. She knows the cost. She knows her bank account. She knows she's already drowning. She whispers, I can't afford... A credit card slides across the counter before she finishes the sentence. Daniel's. Her eyes widen. Daniel. No, I can't let you. You're not letting me, he says. I'm doing it. The nurse nods and rushes off with the payment. Olivia turns toward Daniel, tears forming. You didn't have to. Yes, he says softly. I did. Her breath breaks, a choked, emotional sound she can't hide. This is the second tear moment. She covers her face with her hands, trying to hold herself together. But she's shaking. Fear, relief, exhaustion, gratitude all crashing at once. Daniel steps closer. He doesn't touch her at first. He waits, letting her breathe. Then, slowly, he lifts her hands away from her face. His voice lowers, intimate. You don't have to fight alone anymore. A tear slips down her cheek. He catches it with his thumb. For a moment, she leans into his touch, seeking warmth, safety, something she's never been offered before. But footsteps echo behind them. A doctor approaches. You're here for Mr. Spencer? Olivia straightens, wiping her tears. Yes, is he okay? He's stable, but he needs medication and consistent care. Stress is a significant factor. He'll need observation tonight. Olivia nods, trying to stay composed. Daniel steps in. Can we see him? The doctor leads them to a small room. Her father lies on the bed, pale but conscious. When he sees Olivia, he weakly smiles. Meu passarinho. She rushes to his side, holding his hand. Daniel stands at the doorway, watching quietly, respectfully, something soft unfolding in his expression. Her father's eyes drift to him. This is... Daniel steps forward. Daniel Ferguson, sir. Her father studies him with surprising sharpness. Ah, the rich man my daughter works for. Olivia reddens. Daniel tries not to smile. Her father adds, good men protect those who work hard. Daniel's eyes flick briefly toward Olivia, and something unspoken fills the air. After a while, her father dozes off. Olivia steps out into the hallway. Daniel follows. She exhales shakily. Thank you. For everything. Daniel lowers his gaze to hers. Something fierce and tender burns in his eyes. This isn't gratitude, he says. This is what I choose. She swallows. Hard. Why? She whispers. He steps closer, voice barely audible. Because you changed everything. Her heart stops. But before she can answer, her phone vibrates with a new message. She reads it, and her blood runs cold. A photo of her apartment door, broken open. With a warning scrawled across the frame. Stop digging or you're next. Her hand shakes. Daniel. Someone broke in. He takes the phone. His expression turns deadly calm. They crossed a line. He steps closer, protective, controlled fury radiating off him. From now on, he murmurs, you stay with me. Her breath catches. The twist has tightened, and the danger is no longer distant. It's coming straight for them. Rain thickens over the city as night settles, turning every streetlight into a trembling blur. Daniel parks beside his building, private, heavily secured, far above anything Olivia has ever stepped into. The engine shuts off, leaving only the sound of their breathing. Olivia stares at her phone screen again. The photo of her broken apartment door. The threat carved into the wood. The message meant to terrify her. She grips the phone until her knuckles ache. Daniel watches her quietly, jaw tight, tension coiled like steel under his skin. "Look at me," he says. She lifts her eyes. They're wet, scared, furious all at once. "No one," he says slowly, "touches you. No one threatens you. Not while I'm here." Her breath shakes. "What if they come after you too?" He leans closer. "Let them try." For a moment she forgets fear, lost in the steadiness of his gaze, the warmth beneath his harsh control. But the moment breaks when he opens the door. "Come on," he says. "You're staying somewhere safe tonight." The elevator opens directly inside Daniel's penthouse floor-to-ceiling glass. Dark stone, warm lights reflecting across luxury she has only seen in magazines. A different world, a world not meant for a girl like her. She steps inside cautiously. "Don't worry," Daniel says, watching her carefully. "You're safe here." Her arms wrap around herself. "I still can't believe someone broke into my place." Daniel steps closer, close enough that the city lights outline his frame in gold. "You were the target," he says, "not the apartment." Her pulse jumps. "Because of what I found. Because you're the only obstacle between them and a multi-million-dollar attack on this company," he answers. "They're desperate." She looks down. "I'm scared, Daniel." He doesn't hesitate. He lifts her chin gently. "I know, and I'm not leaving you alone in this. Not for 1 second." Her breath trembles at his touch. She feels his control, his certainty, the protective tension running through him. When he releases her, it leaves her chest hollow. Daniel leads her to a long marble counter in his open kitchen. He spreads her translations across the surface, analyzing each page with cold precision. "They want the contract signed tomorrow," he says. "Once the signatures are in place, the money routes activate automatically. And the funds start disappearing," she adds quietly, "into offshore accounts." Daniel nods, dark anger rising behind his calm expression. "They want you blamed," she whispers. "You, not them." A muscle jumps in his jaw. "They won't succeed." She hesitates. Then, "There's something else." Daniel lifts his eyes to her, sharp, focused. "The foreign partners, they used an internal authorization code. That code belongs to someone with top access." Daniel steps closer. "Tell me." She looks at him, steady now. Miranda's signature key appears 4 times. Silence thickens. Daniel doesn't explode. He doesn't yell. He absorbs the betrayal like a man used to taking damage quietly. He lowers his head, breath shaky for the first time. "She was planning to remove me from my own company," he whispers. Olivia places a hand on his arm, a cautious touch. He doesn't pull away. "If we expose the altered files tomorrow during the signing, we'll prove everything," she says. He lifts his head. "We need your translation notes, the timestamps, audio verification." Her eyes widen. "But everything is in my apartment." Daniel's voice turns sharp. "Not anymore. I had security retrieve anything they could salvage." He grabs a sealed envelope from the counter and sets it gently in front of her. Her breath catches. Inside, her notebook. Her transcriptions, her old dialect notes from her father. He'd saved everything. Her eyes well with tears. "Why would you—" She tries to ask, but her voice cracks. Daniel steps closer. "Because you matter. And because you're the only person in this company I trust right now." Her heart stumbles. But before either can move closer, his phone buzzes sharply. He answers with a clipped, "For Gunson." A beat. Then his eyes narrow. "When?" Another beat. "And the server." A longer pause. He hangs up. "What happened?" Olivia whispers. Daniel turns to her, face grim. "Someone tried to wipe the contract audit trail again, this time through an internal firewall. That means someone high level," she finishes. He nods. "And they'll try again before the signing tomorrow." Olivia feels fear tighten her ribs. We're running out of time. Daniel steps toward her again, intent, unstoppable, protective. "We're close," he says. "Too close for them to stay hidden. That's why they're panicking. And why they broke into my apartment," she whispers. "And why," he adds, voice dropping, "you are staying here tonight." Her pulse quickens for too many reasons. "I don't want to be a burden," she murmurs. He moves closer, slow, deliberate, determined. "You're not." The air thickens. Their breaths mix. His eyes drop to her lips, then rise again with control forced by sheer will. He steps back before the tension consumes both of them. "You can take the guest room," he says quietly, voice slightly rougher than before. "Try to rest. Tomorrow. Everything happens." She nods, gathering her papers. But as she walks toward the hallway, she feels Daniel's gaze on her back, heavy, protective, and unspoken. She reaches the guest room door, pauses, turns. Daniel stands where she left him, watching her in silence. Their eyes lock, speaking everything they cannot say tonight. Fear, trust, desire, danger, and something growing stronger than both of them. Tomorrow will destroy someone and save someone else. But tonight is the last moment before the storm hits. Morning rises sharp and cold. The city gleams like polished steel. Unaware that inside the top floor of Ferguson Industries, a war is minutes away from breaking open. Today is the signing ceremony, the contract worth hundreds of millions, the deal that could crown or kill a billionaire CEO. Daniel's penthouse is still dim when Olivia steps into the living room, hair pulled back, eyes tired, papers clutched against her chest. Daniel is already dressed, black suit, cold expression, controlled fury. When he turns and sees her, something in his jaw softens, only for a second. "You didn't sleep," he says. "Neither did you," she answers. His silence confirms it. He steps closer. "Stay near me today, no matter what happens." She nods. Her throat tightens. He adjusts her collar, gentle, protective, intimate, and the touch sends warmth through her even as fear coils in her stomach. At the company, the corridors buzz with nervous energy. Assistants rush, directors whisper. Miranda glides through the floor with a smile sharp enough to cut glass. When she spots Olivia walking beside Daniel, her expression snaps for half a second. A crack in the mask. A sign of panic. She recovers, stepping toward Daniel with fake brightness. "Everything is ready for your big moment," she says sweetly. "A historic day." Daniel doesn't look at her, doesn't smile, doesn't greet her. He simply says, "We'll see." His cold dismissal makes Miranda flinch. Then she notices the envelope in Olivia's hands, thick, stuffed with evidence. Her jaw tightens. Inside the executive boardroom, the signing table is long, glossy, and immaculate. The foreign investors sit already, waiting with impeccable politeness. Laptops open, contracts displayed, pens engraved with gold. Behind them, a projector shows the final contract version. Miranda stands near the head of the table, performing confidence like theater. Daniel enters with Olivia at his side. Every executive sits straighter. Miranda glances at Olivia, voice sugar-coated venom. "She shouldn't be here, Daniel. This is a high-level meeting." Daniel answers without looking at her. "She's essential." Miranda's nostrils flare. "She's a liability." Olivia feels her heartbeat shaking her ribs. Daniel responds, voice ice. "No, Miranda. You are." Silence shatters across the room like dropped glass. Miranda freezes. The investors look up, confused. "Shall we proceed?" one of them asks politely. Miranda quickly regains her smile. Yes, of course. She gestures for Daniel to take his seat. The contract appears on the main screen, showing a flashing signature line. Everything is ready. Everyone believes the ceremony will run smoothly. But Olivia hears something. A faint sound. A whisper. Her mind recognizes the cadence instantly. One of the foreign negotiators is speaking under his breath in the rare dialect, the same dialect her father taught her as a child. Her blood turns cold. She steps forward. Daniel, she whispers urgently. They're confirming the last trigger. He stands instantly. Miranda snaps. Sit down, Daniel. It's just background chatter. No, Olivia says aloud, loud enough for the room to hear. It's a coded instruction. They're finalizing the fraud. Every head turns. Miranda's face drains of color. The investors stiffen, alarmed by her accuracy. She steps in front of the projector, raising her voice. The phrase they used is not business language. It means activate the covert withdrawal. The contract is a trap. The funds will disappear. Gasps echo around the table. Miranda's mask cracks open entirely. You don't know what you're talking about, she hisses. Daniel steps beside Olivia, shoulder to shoulder, a united front. Show them, he says. Olivia hands him the envelope. He spreads the pages across the table. Timestamps, translations, the rare dialect, the financial trails, everything. Executives lean forward. Investors exchange urgent whispers. This is impossible, one foreign delegate mutters. How did she? She speaks the dialect, Daniel says, and she saved this company. Miranda surges forward, desperate. This is fabricated. She doctored those files. You all saw the emails. Daniel slams a document on the table. The emails were forged, he says coldly, by someone with executive privileges. Every eye turns to Miranda. Her breath stutters. Daniel presses play on a recovered audio clip, the one she thought she deleted forever. Her voice fills the speakers. Miranda whispering viciously into a phone. It's done. The girl will take the fall. Run the extraction after signing. The room explodes into chaos. The foreign investors stand abruptly, shouting in their own language. The board directors demand explanations. Cameras flash. Security steps in. HR rushes forward. Daniel points at Miranda. Escort her out. She panics, voice breaking. Daniel, please. You don't understand. He steps closer. Calm, deadly. You manipulated this company. You framed the only honest person in this building. And you tried to destroy me. Miranda's face collapses. Because I loved you, she screams. And she took. You let her. Daniel steps back, revolted. I never asked for your feelings, but I will hold you accountable for your crimes. Security grips her arms. She thrashes, shrieking. You'll regret this, Daniel. She's nothing. She's a nobody. Daniel's voice rises, sharp, final. She's the reason this company still stands. Miranda's scream is cut off as the doors slam behind her. Silence returns gradually. Everyone stares at Olivia. The shy girl, the ignored, embarrassed, mistreated, nearly fired girl. The girl who saved a billionaire. Daniel turns to the room. This deal is canceled, he announces, and an internal investigation begins immediately. The investors bow slightly, ashamed, shaken, and disconnect their feeds. Executives scatter, murmuring in awe of what unfolded. Someone whispers, She just prevented one of the biggest corporate disasters in years. She exposed a hidden truth no one else caught. This is a redemption story. But Daniel doesn't hear them. He turns to Olivia, slowly, like someone seeing sunlight after years of darkness. Her breath trembles. His eyes soften. He steps closer, lowering his voice just for her. You were right, he says. You were brave. You were extraordinary. Her eyes glisten. I was terrified. And you still did it. He moves even closer. Close enough that she feels the warmth of him. Close enough that the room disappears. Daniel, she whispers, voice trembling. His hand lifts to her cheek, gentle, certain. "This isn't over," he murmurs. "But you just changed everything." The boardroom behind them is chaos, but between them, the world is quiet. A storm just broke open, and the final reckoning is coming. The boardroom empties slowly, leaving echoes of shock behind. Papers still scattered, screens still glowing. Security radios buzzing as Miranda is dragged through the hallway, screaming threats that bounce off marble walls and die there. Olivia stands frozen. Daniel stands beside her, solid, unwavering, his presence the only steady thing in a world that just cracked open. For a long moment, neither speaks. Then Daniel exhales, a slow release of tension he has held for years. "It's done," he says. But the words feel heavier than victory. He isn't talking just about the contract. He's talking about betrayal, about trust shattered, about the woman who tried to destroy him because she couldn't control him. Olivia's voice comes out small. "She wanted to ruin you." Daniel nods, gaze distant. "And she almost did." He lowers his head slightly, a quiet storm settling inside him. People like Miranda. They don't accept no. They turn ambition into poison. Olivia studies him, his tightened jaw, his chest rising with each heavy breath, the hurt buried behind steel. "You're not alone anymore," she says. His eyes lift to hers, slowly, like the words reached a place no one has touched in years. Before he can answer, the door bursts open. Board directors flood into the room. "Mr. Ferguson, what exactly happened? Who authorized the contract alterations? Is the deal officially dead? How did she discover the fraud?" They point at Olivia as if she is a phenomenon, a miracle, an anomaly in their world of power suits and quiet corruption. One director clears his throat. "Mrs. Spencer, your expertise saved this company from collapse." She swallows hard. "I just did what I had to." "No," Daniel says, stepping forward with a rare spark of pride. "You did what no one else could." He moves subtly closer to her, protecting her from the barrage of questions. "She uncovered a scheme that infiltrated the highest levels of our structure," he continues. "She exposed a code hidden in another language. She found what we all missed." A murmur spreads. One executive whispers to another, "A maid or poor woman would have been ignored, but she saved us." A true karma story. A life-changing moment. Daniel ignores them all. His focus is on Olivia. The woman he watched be humiliated. The woman he now sees as indispensable. A director adjusts his glasses. "Mrs. Spencer, can we access your full report?" Olivia hesitates until Daniel touches her arm lightly. "She'll send everything," he says. "Under my supervision." The director nods quickly and retreats. Another clears his throat. "And what of Miranda Hale?" Daniel's voice turns colder. "She'll face legal consequences, attempted fraud, collusion with foreign competitors, tampering with internal systems, wrongful accusations against an employee." "And her motive?" someone asks. Daniel doesn't flinch. Personal obsession, professional ambition, a dangerous combination. Olivia watches the words slice through the room. Not cruel, just true. After the directors leave, only one man remains, the CFO. He approaches quietly, humbly, a stark contrast to Miranda's arrogance. "Mr. Ferguson," he says softly, "your father would be proud." Daniel closes his eyes briefly. Olivia has never seen that expression on him. Vulnerability, memory, pain he hides behind his title. The CFO turns to Olivia. "And you? You may have just saved thousands of jobs." She freezes. Daniel looks at her with something deep, something reverent. "She deserves recognition," the CFO says. "Real recognition." Daniel nods once. She'll get it. The CFO leaves. The door shuts. Silence rushes in, private, heavy, charged. Olivia exhales slowly. Daniel steps closer, not as a CEO, but as a man who nearly lost everything and knows exactly who pulled him back from the edge. "You were unbelievable," he says quietly. "Fearless." "I was terrified," she admits. "But you acted anyway." He moves closer. Her pulse stumbles, his eyes lower to her lips. Not with the hunger of their first kiss, but with gratitude, awe, and something deeper. "Daniel," she whispers, "what happens now?" He takes her hand, carefully, openly, without hiding it this time. "Now," he says, "we take back control of this company." She nods, trusting him, steadying him without realizing it. But before Daniel can pull her closer, security bursts into the doorway. "Sir, we found something in Miranda Hale's office." Daniel drops her hand. "What?" The guard holds up a sealed envelope, addressed to Daniel. Daniel's expression darkens. He tears it open. Inside, prints of surveillance photos. Of Daniel. Of Olivia. Together. Close. Private. Her stomach twists. Miranda wasn't just sabotaging the contract. She was spying, tracking, storing ammunition. Daniel closes the envelope with a slow, dangerous breath. "She planned this for longer than we thought." Olivia steps closer. "What do we do?" He doesn't hesitate. "We expose everything." He looks at her then, fully, openly, fiercely. "You're safe now," he says. "And tomorrow, the entire company will know the truth." She nods. But as they walk out of the room together, toward the final storm gathering in the halls, they both know the last blow hasn't landed yet, and the final reckoning is about to ignite. Morning breaks on the tallest tower of Ferguson Industries, like a curtain lifting before the final act. The air is different, sharper, expectant. Everyone feels it. Executives whisper. Employees gather in tight circles. Security stands alert in every corridor. Because today, for the first time, the truth will be shown publicly. And Olivia Spencer, the shy, poor girl, ignored, humiliated, almost fired, will stand in front of all of them, not as a victim, but as the woman who saved the entire company. Daniel steps onto the stage first, tall, composed, black suit cutting through the LED lights. When he speaks, the room stills. "We were hours away from signing a fraudulent agreement," he says. "A deal designed to collapse us from within. A deal engineered with the help of someone we trusted." Murmurs ripple through the crowd. His jaw tightens. Miranda Hale manipulated internal systems, forged documents, colluded with foreign competitors, and attempted to frame an innocent employee to cover her tracks. Gasps spread across the auditorium. Employees glance at one another, unable to believe someone so polished could fall so far. "Injustice was committed," Daniel continues, voice dropping lower, harder. "Not only against this company, but against a woman who has been overlooked, mistreated, and underestimated from the moment she stepped into this building." A spotlight turns toward the side entrance. Olivia enters. A quiet wave rolls through the crowd. Shock, admiration, disbelief. She walks carefully, holding her folder of translations. Her heart pounds. Daniel watches her walk across the stage. His expression softens, just enough for her to see it. He gestures toward her. "Everything we know about the sabotage," he says, "comes from her." Olivia's throat tightens. He continues. "She heard what none of us did. She translated what no one else could. She caught signals hidden behind corporate language, and because of her, we avoided a collapse worth hundreds of millions." The auditorium erupts. Applause crashes like thunder. People stand. A standing ovation. For the girl who ate lunch alone for 2 years. For the ignored assistant who was nearly destroyed by a lie. Tears sting her eyes. She swallows hard and steps up to the microphone. Her voice is small at first, then steadier. "I didn't do this alone," she says. "I had help. Someone who believed me when no one else did." Her eyes find Daniel. Every camera in the room catches the look they share. But the meaning belongs only to them. She lifts her papers. "This," she continues, "is the truth. And the truth is what saves people." her father's dialect notes, her sleepless nights, her fight against fear. All of it now lights the screen as Daniel displays her findings publicly. Evidence, audio, transcriptions, proof. Miranda Hale, already escorted out of the building in handcuffs, is exposed for all to see. After the meeting, as applause fades and employees return to their floors, the room empties slowly. But Olivia remains on stage, gathering her papers with shaking hands. Daniel approaches her quietly. He stands close enough that the warmth of him pushes away the cold left in her chest. "You were perfect," he says softly. "I was terrified." "Courage is acting despite fear," he replies. "You proved that more than anyone." She looks up at him. "Daniel, what happens now? With the company? With us?" He steps closer, very close. "The company," he says, "is secure. The worst is behind us." "And us?" she whispers. His breath catches. He lifts a hand, slow, careful, and touches her jaw. "I tried not to cross that line," he says. "I tried to be your CEO, your protector, nothing more." Her heart hammers. "But you walked into my life," he continues, voice rough, "and you changed it. You changed me." Her eyes fill with tears. "You made me trust again," he says. "You made me see someone worth fighting for." She takes a trembling breath. "Daniel." He pulls her gently into his arms, not a rushed embrace, not a desperate one, a claiming one, a quiet, powerful confession without words. She melts against him, letting herself be held, letting the safety of him settle around her like shelter. When he pulls back, he cups her face in both hands. "This is not temporary," he murmurs. "Not an office rumor, not a forbidden spark. This is real." She nods, her voice barely audible. "I feel it too." Their lips meet, slower this time, deeper, warmer, a kiss of relief, of victory, of everything they survived, a kiss that feels like a beginning. Later that afternoon, Daniel calls an impromptu board session. Olivia stays outside, waiting. After 30 long minutes, he steps out with a small envelope. "For you," he says. Inside, a new contract, a new role, a new salary, more than she ever dreamed. Position, Director of Linguistic Intelligence and Global Communication. Her breath catches. "Daniel, this is—" "You earned it," he answers simply. "And this part?" she asks, pointing to a handwritten note at the bottom. He smiles, quietly, privately, only for her. "I want you by my side, professionally and personally. Daniel." She looks up at him, trembling. "You mean that?" "I do," he says. "Every word." She steps into him without thinking, wrapping her arms around him. He exhales against her hair, holding her tightly. A moment they both needed, a moment that finally feels like peace. That night, Daniel takes her to the rooftop overlooking the entire city, the glittering skyline far below. Lights flicker across glass towers, wind brushes her hair. His hand intertwines with hers. "You changed everything," he whispers. "So did you." He moves a strand of hair from her face and leans in, kissing her again. Slow, warm, unhurried. Down below, the world moves fast. Up here, time stops. The storm is over. Justice has been served. The villain has fallen. The truth has won. And in the quiet glow of the city, a powerful man and a once invisible woman stand together, equal, steady, connected by something unbreakable. Daniel pulls her closer. "Ready for what comes next?" he asks. She nods, breath warm against his neck. "As long as it's with you." Their silhouettes merge under the city lights. And the story flows onward, a new beginning unfolding, looping seamlessly into a future they will build side by side. And if this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. because that's how you'll discover other stories of love, redemption, and second chances that are yet to come. See you soon.